Ah, Sunday. You take a morning walk to pick up burgers and beers. You tidy the house for 10 fellow football fans. And your biggest chore? Loading the Bud Light into the fridge. It all pays off because nothing is as easy to enjoy as a Sunday full of football. And beer. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
These liberal maniacs.
Yeah.
With their
they ruined
appropriating.
I feel like the liberals have just ruined genocide.
And now they want to put guilty people in jail for crimes?
You ever you turn on C-SPAN and then you're like 2 hours go by, you're like, dude, what happened? You know what I mean?
C-SPAN
it's like TikTok. It's actually worse than TikTok.
C-SPAN is truly the crack cocaine of television.
Welcome to We Are Not Journalists. We are taking you on the Trump indictment world tour. Some people followed Taylor Swift around this summer. I followed Trump's indictment around the country. Arguably more interesting than Taylor Swift. Not as much fun.
Easy, Walter. Whoa. You do not want to pick on the Swifties. This is the most powerful bloc in America right now. I mean, Taylor said, go register to vote, and 35,000 people signed up. Nate Silver has a folder on this woman. I mean, she went after Ticketmaster, Walter. Ticketmaster. No one is safe.
Okay, Max, you're right. I'm sorry. Yes, Comrade Swift, if you're listening to this, we meant absolutely no disrespect whatsoever. We are currently standing by awaiting orders for the violent overthrow of Ticketmaster. So just let us know.
Well, I mean, we have had a little discussion about how violent that revolution needs to be.
You're saying this can be a bloodless revolution.
Well, I mean, not bloodless,
it's
but
Ticketmaster.
I want to just keep it to the C-suite, Walter. There are working class comrades.
The janitor that works at Ticketmaster is just as culpable as the CEO. They all knew what was happening there.
Easy, Robespierre. Jeez, okay? Put the guillotine away. Like, you're saying the guy who's making minimum wage, and I'm sure Ticketmaster pays minimum wage cleaning the facilities at their corporate office, like he's responsible for a $45 fee because all I want to do is see Aladdin on Broadway.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the janitor can also die.
Fine, maybe you're right. Anyway, speaking of things that are grossly illegal, this episode involves a lot of legal stuff. So what are we going to do?
We're going to talk to Tristain Snell. He was one of the state prosecutors that went after Trump University.
Tristain Snell?
Tristan Snell,
that sounds like a character in a Dickens novel. Like, oh, you don't want to mess with him. He's in deep with Tristan Snell.
I think he is a character. I mean, he is both. He is a character in a Dickens novel. You don't want to mess with him. He helped to bring down Trump University. He's also really fierce in an interview. He kind of has a snarky sense of humor. He's really quick on his feet. I would actually love to see him go toe to toe with someone on Fox News. He's a contributor on, CNN and MSNBC. I really need to see him on Fox News, just, kicking Sean Hannity in the shins.
Yeah, and this is a good get because Tristan Snell was one of the first people to successfully sue Trump over anything.
Yeah, we were not the very first case that targeted Trump for Trump University, but we were the first that didn't give up.
That is Tristan Snell.
It's we were the first that actually saw it all the way through, and it almost died a couple of different times because Trump was trying to see if he could weasel his way into buying Eric Schneiderman, who was the New York AG at the time, to see if he could actually stop that case, but it didn't work. And we, the prosecutors who were actually bringing the case, we definitely did not give up. We were not afraid of him. We went forward, and now the AG's office, that New York AG is looking like they're going to be 3 for 3 on these big cases against Trump. But it started with that case and another case that the AG's office brought a couple of years later back, about 5 to 7, 8 years ago is really when I think we started seeing litigate, the prosecutors and litigators being able to take on Trump and win. And then it kind of opened the floodgates for a lot of other people to say, look, he's not untouchable. It is actually possible to bring him to justice. So go. What are you waiting for?
Yes. Go forth.
Go forth. And in 3 to 4 years after he committed crimes, politely ask him to show up to the court.
Yes, it's just right before the statute of limitations ends, or maybe after. You know what? Just do the indictment.
Too late to influence the 2024 election. Let's go and get him, boys. And they have. Trump is facing indictments in 4 states right now, 4 different states, and more might be coming. And in the meantime, we've been sending you out to all of them.
Yes. Although I am showing up, we need Tristan to explain them.
Yeah, and so we'll have them throughout the day. So even though that this has gone up and down the East Coast, our first stop is actually right here in our own backyard.
New York City, baby.
New York.
Okay, so I'm going to set the scene for everyone. Max, put in some mood music. Do we have a budget for that?
We do not have a budget for that, but it's okay. I'll just make some mood music with my mouth. Boom.
Fantastic.
Go into
fantastic.
court.
So it's New York City.
The Big Apple.
Basically, the press is sitting around
bored out of their
the
mind.
courthouse for 2 weeks, waiting for an indictment. Everyone at this point is sort of like, is this indictment actually going to come? Because it's not like it is now, where indictments just rain from above.
No indictments.
This is when everyone was scared to do indictments.
Called Dick Wolf.
So this indictment game.
Law and order.
Okay. I the mood music, it's not working. Can you just shut the fuck up?
I mean,
this is stupid.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is dumb.
Yeah. But for weeks though, we were just sitting around waiting because the indictment hadn't come down. We knew it was coming, and
the press was starved for anything resembling content. That's where we came in.
Everyone, thank you for coming.
We are Trump's volunteer legal defense team.
The American people have raised $250 million for this defense. We have not been paid yet.
We have not been paid any of that at all. None of his lawyers have been paid at all.
No.
Just want to make that clear.
While we're talking about this, I should mention my favorite part about this is, so we go up, I'm in a suit, you're just kind of in normal MAGA clothes. And I go up, right, and there's all this security, there's court officers on the steps, like, keeping security. And I go up to one of the court officers, and all I say is, hey, if we're going to do this press thing, you got to let them know that we only have a couple of minutes. And the guy's like, oh, okay, white guy in suit. I'm going to have to talk to my supervisor about this. And I think, like, okay, well, this clearly isn't going to work because they have a list of who the lawyers are. And he brings the supervisor over, and he's like, he says they only have a couple of minutes to talk to the press. And the supervisor's like, okay, cool, let's clear the sidewalk for them. And they escort us over. They bring the press over. There's some stragglers. They're like, hey, they only have a couple of minutes.
Sorry, we're waiting to get press clearance.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We'll have a brief statement.
We can't give any statements until we're cleared. Sorry.
Stop. Call my office. Stay back here. All right. No problem.
Just to introduce ourselves.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming.
We are Trump's volunteer legal defense team.
Our associate Rudy Giuliani could not be here. He's afraid of a break in the weather. Even one beam of sunlight touches the man, he will collapse in a pile of dust. We have a brief statement on behalf of the president. We understand that there has been some claims that he has been trying to encourage people towards violence. That is not true. He gave us this brief statement. If any of his supporters are out there, you are the true patriots. Do not engage in violence. Wink. Oh, he wrote wink.
You're not supposed to say wink.
Say this part like it's you and not me. Okay. As his attorney, I remind you, though, if you do get in trouble, he still has the power of presidential pardon. That's
Not true. I see what he's.
Okay.
I see what he's doing here. So we want to thank everyone, especially the millions of people who have contributed to his legal defense team. We are his volunteer legal defense team. The American people have raised $250 million for this defense. We have not been paid yet.
We have not been paid any of that at all. None of his lawyers have been paid at all. We just want to make that clear for the record.
Well, we have been assured that the money is being spent. It is being spent at quite a high volume. So we do want to thank everyone who supported.
3 days after this alleged crime happened, he said, "Oh, I think I'm going to get arrested for this."
Yeah.
Now ask yourself, why would he know that?
Minutes after his alleged crimes, he came to us and says, "Hey, they're going to arrest me for this." How else would he know that?
Yeah.
How else would he know that he would eventually be charged with a crime unless he was innocent and this was a deep state?
Exactly. The deep state has been coming after him legally since the 70s when he wouldn't rent to black people.
Donald Trump got me kidnapped.
Right?
Yeah.
Illegally?
What?
Donald Trump got me kidnapped.
Oh my
by
God.
a white supremacist gang.
Allegedly.
Raped and almost brutally murdered.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
His name is Joshua
Allegedly.
Dunham.
I understand the question. Yes, we were temporarily disbarred after the January 6th committee. We have been relicensed. The president, through his connections to Trump University, have given us legal authority here.
Now let's get to the legality of all this. Is it illegal to use campaign funds to pay for sex? Right?
There's an implied no there. I feel like.
Yeah. So I mean,
we're used to
is it
speaking about
illegal to pay someone to not talk about the money you paid them for sex using campaign funds?
Instagram comedians, guys.
Yeah, I believe that question is about how we are going to defend the president. As soon as charges are officially filed, at the start of his presidency, he gave us about 30 of these. They're general, of course. And so it should just be open and shut. We have also been given these. This is our form of payment.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, probably the greatest president of our time. Thank you. Yeah, he has claimed he is still the president, still has the powers of the president. This, of course, is true. He is responsible for anything that you like that has happened over the last couple of years. The bad stuff, that's Biden.
Yeah.
How many followers do you guys have on Instagram?
On Instagram,
Big Tech has been trying to ban us forever.
Yeah, we were officially canceled back in 2022 for saying that Canada shouldn't exist as a country.
You can't say anything anymore.
Yeah, I know.
You can't say the Earth
TikToks
is
are now being
round. Canada isn't real.
Yeah.
Your names one more time.
Oh yeah, I'm Maximilian Clark. This is Walter.
It's Walter Masterson. Yeah, we are Trump's volunteer legal team.
Yeah.
I know. So
yeah, thank you. All right, thank you so much.
very good. Because his legal team has been so insane up until this
They
point
give it like
that whatever we said doesn't sound that crazy.
yeah. God, no. But we had a great time, and again, we were just waiting for the indictment to drop, and we didn't know why. So you just kept going back.
Trump considers all of us family. That's right. We are all his family. That's why he's always asking for money. I paid $12.99 to Donald Trump's re-election campaign. Yes. Thank you for loving America.
We'll stop.
So I think I got Max. I was trying to get their chant right. I think I got it like 99% right. Let's fuck Biden. We want to fuck him. Biden. We're gonna fuck him. Let's Brandon. Who here has had sex with a woman? Tell me what it's like. I don't know. Did I do their chant right?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that's what they're saying. They thought so at least.
No, because I'm not a beta cock. Thank you. That's kind of a beta move.
The election was stolen! People from the grave who've been dead for years voted multiple times!
They voted! That's what dead people do! They vote! It was a communist plot to elect center-right Joe Biden and maintain 50-50 control in the House and Senate, giving majority power to Tristan Snell and Joe Manchin. It was their plan all along.
America is controlled by 7 corporations, and we want to deregulate them!
USA. Pangea.
You can't even go out in the streets because of bail reform. And now they want to put guilty people in jail for crimes?
Yes. Yes, there are only 2 pronouns. 2 pronouns.
Only 2.
2 pronouns.
Only 2.
There's 2 pronouns. Yes. 2 pronouns.
too long. Yeah. We're gonna get him. We're gonna give him little kisses on his neck. Yeah. Let's give Brandon little boops on the nose.
And I think it's funny that like you're out there with all these like pro-Trump protesters who are protesting nothing about like what's happening. They're still like contesting the 2020 election. They're there to support Trump in his indictment, and they're like, dead people are voting. Why are they there?
This is a car crash of Trump supporters.
There was like anti-vax people there. People wanted Fauci in jail. Like, sir, this is a Wendy's. So finally, the indictment came down, and this brought out everyone. We had people from the far left to the far right coming together at the square by the house to let it be known far and wide that absolutely no one knew what the charges were.
Yeah. It's probably like and we had admittedly didn't know what the charges were. This was just, you paid off a porn star using campaign funds. Okay.
No, apparently that's not it. As a matter of fact, you listening also probably don't understand what the New York indictment is about.
Yeah.
But half the people believed it was a witch hunt, and half the people believed he was going to be executed for it.
There's a gradation of misunderstanding. So there were people on the left going like, this is a slap on the wrist, right? There's liberals going like, he's going down, right? And then there's MAGA that lost their minds thinking that they're just going to take him out back and shoot him in the head because, that's justice. That's how justice is administered. Let's just ask Tristan what's going on.
Yeah, so Donald Trump's not getting indicted and prosecuted in New York because he cheated on his wife. He's getting indicted and prosecuted in New York for committing business fraud to cover up cheating on his wife in the heat of a presidential election season.
A lot of people on Fox News have said that Alvin Bragg is out of control, that this thing is usually a misdemeanor. Why is Trump getting the special treatment?
The case was brought as a felony rather than a misdemeanor because the underlying crimes that he was covering up were felonies. So that's why. Yes, it basically, as the thing in New York is that if you falsify business records, but not to cover up another crime, that's a misdemeanor. If you falsify business records in New York to cover up another crime, that is a felony.
What's the other crime? Trying to win an election?
Got him.
Yeah.
It is actually a campaign finance violation, among other things. So what he did was definitely a campaign finance violation because that was, in effect, a undeclared contribution to his own campaign.
Ugh, fine.
To the tune of $130,000. So George Santos is about to go to prison probably for campaign finance violations of a similar ballpark in terms of dollar numbers probably. Donald Trump could have the same fate.
So in this atmosphere of like no one knowing why anyone is there, but being very, very angry about it, on the day of the actual indictment, we got to go in and we got to be a voice of the people.
Yes. True American patriots.
And the media was there, and we got to talk to actual reporters and get the MAGA experience of talking to the press.
Yes. Just play the tape.
It's a crime to take government property.
Yeah,
okay?
sure. Is it a crime to falsify records? For a president to take classified documents home? Everyone's done it. Trump was just the first not to give them back.
They think they're arresting Trump, but Trump's playing a long game. He's actually arresting all of them.
Because we're pretending to be MAGA and we're giving these insane things, we got to experience what is wrong with media today. We said this insane stuff, and what did the press do?
They asked really bad follow-up questions.
Mar-a-Lago is the winter White House, right?
Okay.
So, between October and March, right, Trump is president. He is president from the winter White House. When is crime down? The winter. When is disease down? The winter, right?
So, and what would you tell the president, Trump, obviously, if you could talk to him today on the way?
If I were able to talk to him, I would say, we hear you and we love you, and I currently give you $13.99 a month to your re-election campaign.
And what will you tell the judge?
Right. And the thing is, if you are speaking to someone who is saying nonsense and you ask them a follow-up question as if they are saying something sensible, you are a participant in the illusory truth effect, which is just when you have constant exposure to a lie, people believe it. When you hear a bunch of people saying that it's a witch hunt, that the election was stolen, that Hunter Biden's laptop murdered JFK, you start to think, well, hey, you know, I didn't believe it at first, but now I've heard it 40 or 50 times. There must be something to it. And the press is an accomplice when they do stuff like this. As a member of the media, your response when you hear someone say that Trump is president during the winter months from October to February is no, he is not. And you should seek professional help. That's it.
One of the most famous examples of this happening is when Trump kept saying that Ted Cruz was the Zodiac killer and that Ted Cruz's father murdered JFK. And I think a lot of people kept repeating that lie, and now everyone thinks that...
What, that Ted Cruz is a Zodiac killer?
Yeah, and that his father murdered JFK. And people need to stop repeating that, because the more you keep talking about that and bringing it up randomly,
that Cruz
you're
is a Zodiac
just
killer, yeah,
helping to platform this disinformation.
Right, and
right?
as far as we know, Cruz's father did not kill JFK. As far as we know, as far as we have on record. But also, do we think that Harvey Oswald really did it? Do we think that he was a lone shooter?
All right, just read the magic bullet theory.
Right, exactly. I mean, and if you don't believe this whole thing to bed, if you don't believe that, it doesn't necessarily mean that Ted Cruz's father did do it. It's just, it does seem between the two options that the Lee Harvey Oswald thing, I don't know. For me,
How about if you killed somebody on Fifth Avenue?
When Richard Nixon was president, he said if the president does it, it's not a crime. And we all know that Richard Nixon is famous for being innocent.
One of the funniest things, if you were there that day, is that in the beginning, you had left, right, liberal, MAGA showing up and screaming at each other. Just, right? But this went on for hours, and it was hot. So by the time we left, everyone was just tired. Yeah. And they were just sort of like they're just staring at each other like, whatever, you're MAGA, whatever, you're a communist.
Yeah, no, like even
fine.
The guy who's always trying to fight me was just sort of like, I'll get you next time.
Oh my God, yes! So that was the guy. So here's the guy in the beginning of the day who I had met him a second time after this, and there's something wrong with him. Yeah, obviously. And he tried to fight me that day. Other MAGA had to pull him away and say, dude, like, can we not? Have you looked anywhere? Like, there's 100 cops and stuff. And then by the end of the day, he was like, screw you. Like, New World Order, New World, World Economic Forum, you're a Soros. Just sort of grumbled and walked away like, yeah. He was just like, Soros. Like, and just with no energy. But that was how it was across the board with just counter protesters. Everyone's like, whatever, man.
Yeah, which is how I think we all kind of feel as the indictments continue to come in. Like early this summer, we're all like, yeah, he's going to jail. We're gonna get him. And now we're just like, yeah, another court case. Good job.
Now we're sort of like, okay, if one of these sticks, I'm happy.
Sunday. You take a morning walk to pick up burgers and beers. You tidy the house for 10 fellow football fans. And your biggest chore? Loading the Bud Light into the fridge. It all pays off because nothing is as easy to enjoy as a Sunday full of football. And beer. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
So, before we move on to our next stop on the Indictment World Tour, how about something fun for our audience?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Like, what?
Oh, man. This is the segment that you said no to about 24 times during the planning stage. It's trick shot time.
Right, yeah.
We're going to do some sick-ass trick shots. You ready? Yeah!
Max, we don't have video yet. This is just an auditory podcast. This isn't a...
No. Yeah, no, I get that.
When we do that, this will be a video that would be worth... This is so... God...
Oh! Third try.
You don't... So, for every second that you do this is another second of Tristan Snell and Michael Cohen that I have to cut out.
I want to see if I can throw a book back on the shelf.
So the next stop on the indictment tour is Washington, D.C.
So we're going from a court case that no one understands to the indictment that basically everyone understands because we've been living in the ripple effect ever since January 6, 2020.
Yes, Washington, D.C., the home of Trump's third indictment. Sure, who's counting? So I get there. So I get to D.C. that day, and there weren't a lot of people there initially. And the people that were there were all Justice for J6 people. They were at Capitol Hill that day. They were at the rally, and they are all swearing to me that it was just this peaceful protest that was just got out of hand because of Antifa infiltrators. It wasn't MAGA, but if it was MAGA, it was just a few MAGA, but it was really more Antifa. And if MAGA did anything wrong and you could prove it, it was because Antifa made them do it. Also, why were there so many cops there that day?
Well, I mean, these sound like some very important questions. Fortunately for us, we actually had someone in the field on January 6th. You were there.
Yes.
And
yes.
So I'm glad that you were able to speak to these people about your own experience and explain to them how it was Antifa.
Yeah, all I can say is you see the kind of chaos it is down here. This is what happens when you weaponize the Department of Justice against the American people. The First Amendment needs to be protected. I shouldn't have to be assaulted to have my First Amendment rights protected.
Well,
that's what happened on January 6th. That's what happened on January 6th. 1 million peaceful people came here to protest peacefully as per the Constitution, and they were entrapped by this federal government. After they were shot at and used deadly force against, the Capitol Police killed 4 innocent civilians that day.
Yeah, no, I was at January 6th. I was at Capitol Hill, and we came there to be peaceful, and there was a lot of Antifa people that showed up.
Dozens of federal agents. FBI has admitted to this. Dozens of federal agents.
I was in Nancy Pelosi's office when I saw some people that they looked like they were Antifa, and they looked really out of place.
Yeah, well, John Sullivan is a known Antifa member, and we've seen his video footage from inside the Capitol over and over and over. So,
yeah, I almost used my bear spray on a bunch of people that I thought were Antifa, while I was in Nancy Pelosi's office.
This is why I stayed on 11th and E and did not go up to the Capitol, because I knew what possible false flag dangers could be implemented on the American people that day, and we saw what happened.
So I noticed a lot of the people that were there were Justice for J6. What is that? What do they want justice for?
They want justice for the insurrectionists that were locked up for raiding the Capitol on January 6th. All of the people that are in prison. See, I thought the people that are in prison are all Antifa. Apparently, Antifa's behind January 6th, but the people in prison for January 6th aren't Antifa. All right. So Max,
right.
I feel like you're not really getting the logic of
No.
So, all right.
Wait, no. So you're saying that they
January 6th was all Antifa.
January 6th was all Antifa. Everyone in the Capitol on January 6th was Antifa. And they arrested the people.
Yeah. Anyone that did anything bad was Antifa.
And they arrested people who had recorded themselves in the Capitol, who they have footage of in the Capitol.
The people that recorded themselves doing...
Right.
Yeah, the people that they arrested that recorded themselves, they weren't Antifa. So the only people in jail right now are non-Antifas. And everyone that was responsible for January 6th is Antifa. except for the ones in jail.
Right.
So I mean,
Wow.
so
the
are you
Justice
following
Department,
the logic,
Yeah,
Max?
it sounds like the Justice Department whiffed badly. They imagine that they were only able to get the MAGA people in the Capitol who weren't even in the Capitol just because they were in the Capitol.
It wasn't all Antifa.
So you're saying there were some people on our side that got a little rowdy and they should not have?
That happened, but it wasn't Antifa.
Wait, it was? So wait, I thought
Antifa's a bunch of pussies, man. They are nothing. They're not good. They're not the big boogeyman that we're led to believe, man. What did it at the Capitol was undercover law enforcement, the FBI, Secret Service, DC Metro Police. That's who the instigators were.
And, you know, they clearly, the police invited everyone inside and said, hey, we're in the middle of certifying a presidential election, but you know what? Come on in, right? Like, what are there, 20,000 of you? Get in here. You know what? If the doors are full, use the window. If the door's closed, rip it off the hinges and come through.
But DC lives in a bubble. You have a big bubble around here. You believe all the media propaganda that we were all violent. It is not true. We were 99% peaceful, joyful. That's a fact. Huh? Did you have the headphone jack?
It seems like these patriots really have a keen sense of justice. But it wasn't just January 6th that they wanted justice for, because they're also trying to catch an elite squad of pedophiles who are trying to sexualize our children.
Yes. So I had a very deep conversation with MAGA about how the woke mob is just ruining everything. And they're just trying to sexualize everyone.
I mean, obviously, no one wants to sexualize children, and that's terrible. But they say that this woke mob is responsible for sexualizing our children.
The worst thing is that they've destroyed children's beauty pageants.
Come again?
My daughter, she competes in beauty pageants.
Oh, really?
And it's been a disaster lately with all this woke stuff.
Oh, no.
Recently, she's in a pageant and she's competing in the bathing suit competition. And
How old is she?
Well, it's fourth grade. And then, so this one girl comes in and she wears the rainbow bikini. It was distracting. My daughter screwed up her dance routine. She almost fell off the pole and stuff. It's just awful what they're doing to kids.
Oh, it's disgusting. No,
Fourth grader in a rainbow bikini for the bathing suit competition. It was disruptive. It was distracting. My daughter almost screwed up her entire dance routine, nearly fell off the pole. And, the left has gone too far.
They have. You can't even put your kids in public school anymore without exposing them to that. Yeah. So we're not putting our kids in public school anymore. That's all there is to it.
My daughter right now, she competes in child beauty pageants. During the bathing suit competition, there was a girl that came in a rainbow bikini during the bathing suit competition.
Yeah,
I was this is
let
so
kids
inappropriate.
be kids. When I was a kid, I focused on sports in school.
Yeah, it was distracting. It was disruptive. My daughter almost ruined her entire dance routine. She almost fell off the pole. It's like, why, just let kids be kids. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Let kids be kids. Where did we go wrong as parents? What is going on here? I'm sorry, but if I walked up to my old man at 8th grade and said, Dad, I feel like a woman, you know what he would do? He was ex-Navy. He'd kick me in the balls and say, hey, do you feel like one now?
Yeah, that's the way you're.
I guarantee you I wouldn't feel like a girl after getting hit in the nut.
That's how you were raised, and you turned out fine, right?
Turned out fine.
Pole dancing, huh?
Yeah, Max, pole dancing. Still traumatic for me to talk about.
You're so brave. So true. What I love about this is you said this to MAGA 36 times and nothing. And then you say it in front of a couple of liberals and immediately.
So no, this is the best part. I went around saying this. The liberals start shooting this down. And I was not expecting MAGA to jump in to defend me. What about the bikinis?
He's stuck on the little kid bikini thing.
He's stuck on the little kid bikini thing.
Well, Hunter Biden likes that. Hunter Biden will be able to answer that because he likes little girls on top of him wear bikini.
Now, if you listen to him again, he's shown that he understood and heard exactly what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He just said he's stuck on the bikini thing.
Stuck on the little kid bikini thing.
Like that guy just said he's stuck on the little girl bikini thing. Like, oh, right? Like, so he knows exactly what was just said. Really, really weird.
Oh my God.
Can I ask you a question? Your daughter
She knows it's doing her dance routine.
I know. He said she almost fell off the pole.
Yeah, during the dance routine. It's a pole routine. It's a part of a dance thing. It's fine.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying your daughter's doing a pole routine. And I don't think the rainbow flag is
to a pole dance?
Wait, what? Yeah. What's wrong? What's wrong with that?
You don't get the.
So the left wants to. I thought the left was inclusive, and pole dancing is okay. And
kids.
wait. What sexualization?
Pole dancing for little kids.
I
You don't get more sexualization
But
than
then
that.
what about drag story hour though?
But you have the right to do that.
No, but drag story hour is mandatory. It's like jury duty. So for anyone that doesn't understand the religious rights, big objection over the pride rainbow. So when God facilitated one of the largest and most thorough genocides in the world, and he had Noah just say, all right, take these animals on your ship, then fuck your daughters to repopulate the world. So right after that, he made a rainbow, and that was his promise that he was not going to facilitate another mass genocide.
Nice of him.
Doing the rainbow. The rainbow is a covenant from God, and they're using it for this ideology.
These liberal maniacs.
Yeah.
With their
appropriating. I feel like the liberals have just ruined genocide.
It wasn't just the National Pedophile Defense Force out there. You were talking to some real dudes, including, I believe, the most knowledgeable person about January 6th, because he was the one whose idea it was.
Yeah, so this lawyer, Ivan Raiklin.
What's your name?
Walter Masterson.
Ivan Raiklin.
Raiklin. How
Where are you from, Walter?
I'm from New York City.
Okay, welcome to DC.
Yeah.
Even though I don't live here.
He really opened my eyes to a lot of the conspiracy and corruption that's been going on within the deep state. And I want to, you know what, instead of us talking about it, let's just play it for Tristan Snell and just try and educate him on how the deep state's really working.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's going to love it.
The path that I used to determine what happened on January 6th, I started to kind of look at the decision-making process of those that have jurisdictional authority over the Capitol grounds. That's where I started my research. And that starts with the Capitol Police Board. Yeah. Title II of the U.S. Code lays out who has what authority in terms of law enforcement. Listen real quick.
No, I'm listening.
The executive branch does not have jurisdiction to go step foot into the Capitol as an Article I branch of government without the request of the Speaker of the House if it's on the House side, or the Senate Majority Leader if it's on the Senate side. Okay. So when they were yelling, President Trump didn't send anybody, it doesn't work that way. If he sends someone without the request of the Speaker of the House or the Senate Majority Leader, that's a coup d'etat.
Capitol Hill is a completely different jurisdiction. It's only under Nancy Pelosi, and that Trump can't send any type of troops, National Guard in there without Nancy Pelosi's explicit approval.
That's pretty good. So she was the empress of Capitol Hill. It was her own little her own little country. It was like the Vatican. She's like the Pope of the Capitol.
Yeah, and that's why J6 was
that
all.
makes so much sense.
And Nancy Pelosi.
That makes so much sense. Okay, now we know. I'm glad we got that cleared up.
The 4 members of the Capitol, it's complicated, and I get it. You don't have time to listen, but if you do, the 4 members of the Capitol Police Board, there's one non-voting member, U.S. Capitol Police Chief, that covers the entire Capitol Police grounds and the extended jurisdiction. There's 2 extended jurisdiction zones. One that goes around the Capitol that way, and that's concurrently with DC Metro Police. That's why you see DC Metro here, and you're going to see Capitol Police over there on that corner. And then you have the extended jurisdiction that's concurrent between Capitol Police and the Department of Interior's Park Police. which covers part of the mall going down that way.
And I do want to point out that he's using a technique that we see a lot on the right, where they get very, very granular in their
I was just going to
descriptions,
say that.
where-
It's like they basically confuse granularity with substance. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And if we just flood you with
If
details,
I flood you with
won't know
details,
what
it
to
sounds very
challenge.
plausible. Yeah. I mean, I think this is what.
Mhm.
This is what a lot of far right discourse sounds like. Yeah, and I use discourse very loosely in that phrase.
Yeah. But hey, they got the tape measure. They're like 300 meters. That's this tree, which I believe is a Carolina oak.
Right.
Look at big picture. So this was all instigators. This was FBI. This was Antifa, and it was all a false flag for the purpose of what? Tell me what purpose.
So I suspect they came up with the plan, and again, she owns
No,
that.
they came up with the plan
in order to facilitate the unlawful entry into the Capitol to stop the country from seeing, uncensored on C-SPAN for the whole world to see, objections that showed the illegally conducted and then subsequently illegally certified elections in multiple states that would have convinced possibly enough members of the House to create enough objections to run a re-election for Trump and Pence.
But I'm still so confused. Like he was convinced that
they didn't want to see. Nancy Pelosi didn't want everyone seeing what was going on in the House and the corruption taking place.
So people wouldn't watch C-SPAN?
Yeah, because too many people were Tristan. Too many people were watching C-SPAN.
That is some problem.
I mean, how often?
Too many people.
I mean, we all have that problem, right? Like
too many people are watching C-SPAN.
Like it's just like you ever you turn on C-SPAN and then you're like 2 hours go by, you're like, dude, what happened? You know what I mean?
C-SPAN
It's like TikTok. It's actually worse
C-SPAN
than
is
TikTok.
truly the crack cocaine of television. Truly. You just don't even know where the time goes.
That's
You
a new
wake up
slogan.
3 days later and all your money's gone. Yeah, that's what happens when you watch C-SPAN.
Well, what's your explanation? I mean, like you explain why Trump's being persecuted in DC.
So first off, no one's being persecuted in the J6 matter. These people are in jail in DC, and they're being. Last I heard, the detainees there were being given each a personal iPad. So yeah, that's a real tough life. Come back to me when they're actually in Rikers or Guantanamo, and then we'll talk about something that looks more like persecution. These are folks that all attacked police officers, killed one, led to the deaths of several others, destroyed one of our most sacred pieces of national property and pride, the United States Capitol, defaced it, defecated in it, literally, destroyed office equipment, destroyed antiques, used flags as weapons.
But how do we know that wasn't both Antifa and the FBI? Because there were a lot of FBI people there that day, and
because the people that were because the defendants in many cases actually recorded their felonies on their own cell phones and then posted it to social media for everybody to see. So
right. I mean, but this sounds like a couple of bad apples, right?
It was more of like a couple thousand bad apples. It was more of a couple of thousand bad apples, and then led by. And the thing is, those people. Here's the thing: I do have some sympathy with them on one thing. They were set up. They were set up to fail. They were set up. The guys on the boots on the street who stormed the Capitol. They were set up by the guys in suits who rallied them and organized them and incited them to go over there. And a lot of these folks are going to be doing pretty hard time now because of Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani and a bunch of these guys who are now getting indicted for it. So, that's a lot of what's going on here. I do think a lot of the guys that were just the rank and file guys who went to the Capitol that day, I think they really did a lot of bad stuff. I do think that they got set up to fail.
And that was Tristan Snell. Thank you so much for all that insight and advice. And I want to invite everyone back next week when we're going to continue the world tour and go down to Florida and Atlanta to talk about why Trump is guilty in those cases as well.
And Max, before we go, I really think we need to fact check everything from today.
Yeah, you think we left something hanging? We had Tristan talking about that.
You know what? Let's just, we owe it to our listeners.
Thank you for calling the Houston office of Senator Ted Cruz. Have a great day.
Hey, Ted, just calling to see if your dad really killed JFK, and also whether or not you're the Zodiac killer.
Yeah, just let us know. Call us back at your convenience.
All right. Thanks. Bye. So yeah, Max, even though we're not journalists, I feel like we owe that bit of journalistic integrity to our audience.
Yeah, I feel good about that. Though it would be hilarious if this is the show that uncovers who killed JFK. They just call us back and it's like, you got us. Whoopsie.
Scorsese movie was a documentary.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you for the interest. I'll let Dad know.
Next week, I'm going to be at other...
More.
Come on!
Just come back.
We're not journalists.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Ah, Sunday. You take a morning walk to pick up burgers and beers. You tidy the house for 10 fellow football fans. And your biggest chore? Loading the Bud Light into the fridge. It all pays off because nothing is as easy to enjoy as a Sunday full of football. And beer. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.